Hell with Vince McMahon. I don't need him.
Well, hello. Here we are again. Another edition of the Orchid and Kato show. Looking back on the week that was wrestling first, I got to show off. Look at this cool shirt.
Very cool. It's as old as I am.
Yeah, it's every bit as old as you are. It's from the mid-'90s. I bought it at a house show in State College a long time ago, and I haven't worn it a lot, so it's a special occasion. I'm breaking it out for today. Let's jump right into it, though, because it's not Rusev Day. I mean, I was right.
But you were wrong.
What? Let me tell you first. He's terrible.
How so?
Is Rusev a bad guy?
No, not in my
Oh, you had to think about it.
He's a bad guy. He can get boos. Aiden English can get him to get booed. Mm-hmm. It's just when he's in the ring, he can't get booed.
He's not trying, though. I mean, I know I've said this before, but if my job is to get boos, I'm a bad guy. I should be doing everything I can. He's going the other direction. He's doing everything he can to get cheered. Like, that's a terrible bad guy in my eyes. So I'm so happy that Rusev lost.
But he's
on
selling
Saturday.
Merchandise.
Do you think he's selling more than AJ Styles?
I mean, I would rather have a Rusev Day shirt.
You personally?
Yes.
Let's look at the world as a broad.
I don't know. I think adults probably relate more to Rusev than AJ Styles.
Relate to Rusev?
They like him more, I guarantee it.
No, let's backtrack. You said relate to... In what way does anyone...
I misspoke.
Ah, okay.
I mean, you heard the cheers at the pay-per-view. They cheered Rusev. They did not cheer AJ Styles.
You know why?
Why?
Because a lot of the crowd that was there in Pittsburgh that night...
Is a smart mark.
Are booger eaters. Are huge booger eaters. Some of them save their boogers for several days in a jar and eat them at once so they have one giant booger to eat.
Then why?
Those are the Rusev fans.
Okay, but why wouldn't you, if you're a smart promoter, why wouldn't you have Rusev get over then in Pittsburgh? Because if there are a bunch of booger eaters, why not have him?
Because you can't play to that particular audience. You have to play to the bigger audience.
I mean, you hear it every
I'm going to leave
week.
you in on a little secret right now. This, and no wrestling fan wants to hear about this. Your particular opinion about wrestling doesn't matter. Honest to God, and here's the reason why. And fans don't seem to grasp this, but you and I going to see these shows is not near as important as you and I watching on television, driving revenue, tuning into YouTube, because WWE answers to their sponsors at this point, because that money is way bigger than what any amount of us buying tickets, us buying merch. All that stuff is nice, and they like that. But that $1 billion television revenue, $2 billion between the two networks, that's what drives them. So they're way more interested in keeping their advertisers and their networks happy than they are us. And if AJ Styles moves the needle a little more on the television network and amongst the sponsors, that's going to be your champion. Not boring old, terrible at being a heel Rusev.
He's not boring, though. Everybody enjoys... You laughed. A couple weeks ago, Rusev said, hey, AJ Styles, or something like that, and you laughed. Because it was like he was about to wrestle Aiden English, and AJ Styles got distracted, and you thought that was just the funniest thing. It
was funny, right? Funny.
So he's entertaining.
Yeah, but he should be getting me to dislike him. That's his job. So, anyway, I was right. That's the point of the story. We can move forward now, right?
No, because he deserves another title match. He wasn't even on SmackDown, though, was he?
Yeah, no. That's
a shame.
Yeah, that is a shame, isn't it? Let's move forward to the next topic for today. Sasha and Bailey. You heard something.
Yeah, apparently a lot of people on the internet are saying that whole segment where Sasha and Bailey were backstage after their match, and Sasha saying, I love you, was a lesbian angle. I didn't really catch that.
Let's backtrack even from away from being a lesbian angle first. When you watched it, did you like that segment?
It was okay.
Yeah,
it wasn't the best thing to me.
I liked it. I thought it was a little different. It wasn't the direction I thought they were going to go, so I liked it. It evokes an emotion, and I think that's what wrestling should do. I mean, we can all relate to losing a friend, so I think it evokes an emotion. As far as it being lesbian, what do you think? I mean, that's what the internet's sort of saying, but what do you think?
I didn't get that vibe at all. I didn't get that it was like a lesbian angle.
Yeah, I didn't think so either. I think maybe in the Attitude Era of 20 years ago, definitely. I think today, I think the wrestling business, I hope at that level, WWE is a little more adult. Like they're not like little babies anymore, like a bunch of 13-year-old boys. Like I hope that it isn't, because I think, to me, like this particular, like, she said the line in there, like, it's okay for me to beat you up, but nobody else can beat you up. Like, I think that's a compelling story that, if given proper time and proper development, can be fun and brilliant. I really am looking forward and hoping that they do the right thing, because they really dropped the ball with the Dr. Shelby thing, which I thought, man, this is really going to be fun and exciting. They dropped the ball there. So I like it. Okay, well, let's move forward. We got the segment with The Miz and Daniel Bryan. I think you and I both, at least me, Daniel Bryan is probably my favorite guy on television. He's probably amongst your, top 5?
Yeah.
Or is he your favorite as well?
I think he is my favorite.
So, with that in mind, what did you think of the particular funeral segment with The Miz?
I really thought it was funny and clever. I really enjoyed when he was walking down the ramp and handshaking people. I thought that was hilarious. But, I mean, if you think about that, that's kind of bad, because he's a heel, right, Daddy?
Think about the reaction he was getting, though. Was he getting cheered, or was he getting booed?
I mean, at that moment, people were laughing. Laughing
at him, not with him.
Okay.
You don't think, though, when he was in the ring and he was doing that, like, he was definitely getting booed?
Yeah.
Everything aside, I mean, I think Miz is definitely one of the top
heels,
3-4 heels in the company, for sure. I'm really with The Miz. I like a bad guy that's bad. That's why I love the Joker. Like, he was in DC Comics. Like, he was just evil and understood his role of being evil. And I think, like, it wears me out to no end. I see so many heels now that want to be the cool heel and boo me, but boo me with a smile on your face.
Right.
Like, I like guys that say, like, the fans are like, oh my God, I hate that guy. I want to punch his face. And The Miz does that.
Do you think, do you like the Daniel Bryan and Miz stuff, or do you want them to go kind of more full force into that stuff?
I love it. I think I said, maybe even on the show last week, I really hope that Daniel Bryan and The Miz, I mean, it drags on until it's time for WrestleMania. And I would love it if the heavyweight title's involved and that main event's WrestleMania. Like, I think, like, all the way back to, like, NXT, that television show where, like, at the time, Miz was not very highly regarded as a talent in the company, and they brought Daniel Bryan up to be Miz's rookie. I don't know if you remember this or not, but, I mean, that's 6-7 years ago now, and, like, they have all these years of history. Like, I think it's such an easy and fun story to tell throughout the history. I worry that WWE's not going to have the patience to tell that story. I think they have a bad history the last few years of not being patient.
They've been doing a fairly good job, in my opinion. I mean, they did, like, a couple weeks of The Miz, and then he was gone for a while with the Daniel Bryan stuff, and then Team Hell No came back, and then now the Miz stuff is happening up again. So I think that there's always a constant reminder. I think that they will be able to hold off until WrestleMania.
I hope you're right. Let's move forward to the next topic. This is another one that you found on the internet. As far as the pay-per-view Extreme Rules.
Apparently, Vince McMahon wasn't at at Extreme Rules. Triple H was running the whole thing, and that's kind of why the Intercontinental Championship was on last. Because Triple H was in charge, and he wanted to end the show with a good match.
So, okay. Which I didn't read that. I haven't been online much the last few days, but as far as reading websites or anything, but I find it hard to believe that even if Vince wasn't there, like, he didn't approve. Like, he has such a long history of being such a control freak, which you know what it's like to live with a control freak. But like I can't imagine. So let's say though, for example, that Triple H was in charge. What did you think of the pay-per-view as a whole?
It felt slow at times and then really fast at times. Like a couple of the matches, they were out there and then they were gone. Like obviously the Shinsuke Nakamura, that was ridiculously fast.
Did you like that?
I did like that.
I did too. I thought it was a little bit of a different piece of business, so I enjoyed that.
And I think there was a women's match that was really fast. Asuka's match. I felt like it wasn't super fast, but it felt like they were out there and then gone.
Yeah. These are some of my complaints. I guess my only real complaint about the pay-per-view was the overall length. When they started earlier at 7 o'clock, I really thought that, hey, we're going to be done here at 10 o'clock. This is great. I can I can go to bed and be up early for work tomorrow morning. Instead, it was still a quarter to 11. That was my biggest complaint. As far as the show itself, though, I thought it was a pretty good show. I was surprised when Lashley beat Roman Reigns. And, if Triple H was in charge on this given night, you can't tell me that, Vince wasn't the one making that decision.
I mean, though, don't you kind of think that Roman Reigns is Vince McMahon's guy right now?
Of course he is. Yeah. I mean, he's taking very good care of him. And I think, contrary to what people say, I think he's earned that spot. Because when he loses, it really means something. Like, it's really, a big deal that Bobby Lashley beat him. So, yeah, I don't know. Oh, what do you think of the Kevin Owens off the top of the cage?
I don't know, because, yes, it's impressive, but, I've seen it so many times that I don't know. Maybe it's because I've seen it since a young age that, that really didn't do anything for me.
Really?
Yeah. I
don't know. As a guy who's taken high falls, but not that high of falls, it's still, that feeling of landing from a high spot is, it sucks. I mean, it sucks landing from that high, so, it's still, even after all these years, it's very impressive to me. So, I don't know. I think overall, if you were going to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, the pay-per-view, 10 being, the best pay-per-view ever, and then 1 being an indie backyard fed, what would you have rated it?
As far as a pay-per-view, I think a 6 or a 7.
Yeah, I was going to say 7 and a half, somewhere in there, which is good. Yeah. I mean, I'll take that compared to some of the stuff the previous 3 Raws that we had seen. I was pretty happy with it.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap it up.
Do you want to talk about the Randy Orton stuff?
Yeah, we didn't talk about it, but I like bad guy Randy Orton because he's a guy that will definitely work hard to get booed. Yeah. All the time. Yeah. The thing with the pulling at the earlobe, I thought for sure they were going to rip that thing. Yeah. It was not good fun to watch. No. But you couldn't turn away. You're like, yeah. So to me, that's good television. It's very compelling. I liked it. What did you think of it? I liked it. I thought he was a good heel. He is a good heel. I would love to see the reasoning behind it and all that stuff. I'm excited. It's a story that just started on Sunday, and I'm excited to see it the whole way through, which is a really good thing. Because not too often you get a story where you want to know what's going to happen next. Right. Let's wrap it up. Team Hell No kind of went down the tubes on us here. Kane, I guess, legitimately got injured, and they said it was what I had read this right before we did this, is that he had done something to his Achilles tendon and is going to be out for a while now. So very disappointing. I think that I could be wrong. I still say that Team Hell No was probably going to win the titles had he not got injured. So I guess it's a good thing and it's a bad thing. I mean, I think we sort of lose a little bit of Team Hell No, but we jump back into the Daniel and Miz thing a little quicker. I hope they just don't, rush this and ruin it now, though. So because now that they don't have that Team Hell No thing to give it a little cushion. Yeah. Team Hell No out of the picture? You still want a Team Hell No t-shirt, or is that ship sailed now? I don't know, because I have hope that maybe it's just a little tear, and maybe it will only be a month thing, and he'll be back. Yeah. Well, I mean, an OT major like yourself, I'm guessing you know the.
That's not going to happen.
It's an OT. The Achilles tendon, not something that.
I know, but I can have hope.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see. I'll tell you what, man. I thought this was a much better week of wrestling.
Yeah.
And as a result, our show was much better this week. We had a lot more energy because there was more exciting stuff to talk about. So now we go into... Oh, the other thing I noticed is, like, the pay-per-views are way farther apart all of a sudden. Mm-hmm. Have you noticed?
Yeah. I think it's probably because before we were doing separate branded. So you had SmackDown and a Raw that you had to... Like, you couldn't skip a month of one. So you had to cram them both in 1 month. Yeah. So I think that's probably what's happening.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I think I like the farther away.
I do too.
I think they mean a little more whenever they're spaced out a little more. But then again, they were spaced out, the last time, and we had a few weeks of Raw and even SmackDown that drug a little bit. Mm-hmm. So I hope that isn't the new formula. Mm-hmm. So I guess we'll see. Anything else you want to add before we wrap it up?
No.
Thank you guys for watching. As always, please stop having shitty matches. Whoops. You're ruining my life. She don't like the cursing.